Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review for August 22nd, 2016. Now, before the show, some unfortunate news broke. Finn Balor tore his labrum in his shoulder. He is going to be out for 6 months, and Mick Foley announced on Twitter that Finn would be dropping the title on Raw. So, Finn and Stephanie open the show, and they have Finn come out, and he comes out in a sling with the title over his shoulder. He says that the title represents a lifetime of sacrifice, and that yesterday, when he won the championship, or on Sunday, when you watch this on Tuesday, when he won the championship on Tuesday, his life goals had been met, but it came at a sacrifice. He thanked the WWE. He thanked all the talent in the locker room. He even thanked Seth Rollins for giving him the match of a lifetime. He then thanked the WWE Universe and said, with that last remark, I relinquish the WWE Universal Championship. But when I come back, this will be the first thing I go after, and I will become your new Universal title champion. And then he leaves the ring. He walks up all the way up the ramp, up to the stage, and Seth Rollins comes out. He walked past Finn laughing his ass off, because he did it. He injured Finn. It's his championship. Seth says that he is obviously the true winner because he's the only one capable of wrestling out of that match still. He wants the title to just be given to him. Sami Zayn then comes out. Chris Jericho then comes out. Kevin Owens then comes out. Big Cass then comes out. Enzo and Cass both came out. I really wanted them to just, here, Enzo, take the championship. I really wanted them to give it to Enzo, but they didn't. Enzo had nothing to do with this whole thing. Enzo and Cass came out. They were both in the ring, but Enzo had nothing to do with this. And then Roman came out. And Mick announced that they would be having four matches tonight, which then would go on to next week's show, where the new Universal Champion would be crowned. And the first one is right now, Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. Now, I went a little different with these. I didn't write a whole lot. I didn't want to make these as long as they were. It's like my SummerSlam was half an hour, so I didn't want to make them go that long. So let's see if they don't go that long, and I apologize if you can hear the dryer in the background. Seth attacked Sami during the end of this segment because Kevin Owens distracted Sami. So, and the ref wasn't even in the ring yet, so Seth had the upper hand. Sami hit a moonsault off the barricade when Seth tried to throw him into it. Sami rolled his ankle, jumping over the Seth Rollins. Sami got Irish whipped into the ropes. He jumped off the bottom. He jumped over Seth Rollins, but when he landed, he rolled his ankle. Sami launched himself over the ropes. He wanted to do the one where he runs all the way over the ring, but instead he just pulled himself over the ropes and launched over. Sami got kneed in the face, 2 count. Sit down powerbomb to Seth from the top rope, 2 count. And then pedigree for the win. Seth Rollins is the first man going to Raw next week to fight for the Universal title. Kevin Owens versus Neville. Neville wasn't in the opening segment, but he's in the Universal title tournament match. Jericho comes down and distracts Neville at the beginning of the match, and a big-ass clothesline to Neville on the outside of the ring. Corkscrew moonsault to Owens, 2 count. Red Arrow dodged into a super kick. Jericho distracts Neville one more time. Owen hits a torture rack neck breaker for the win. He attempted the pop-up powerbomb, but it didn't work. The New Day come out to talk about how they have been the tag team champions for 365 days. They have a unicorn pinata filled with Bootios. The club come out and say that, yeah, they've been champions for 365 days, but they still lost the match last night. So therefore, they are owed a rematch for the titles. And then it sets up a match, Big E versus Carl Anderson. It wasn't that long, fairly even. Gallows took Kofi and Xavier on the outside. Literally right after that, big ending for the win. Wasn't that long of a match. Wasn't a bad match, but it just wasn't that long. Titus comes out for some reason to talk about the primetime players and how if it wasn't for the primetime players losing last year at SummerSlam, the New Day would never have been champions for a year. And he said that on that day that they lost the titles, it was the best day of his career because he got to drop the dead weight that is Darren Young. He says, how are you going to make Darren Young great again when he was never great before? He used that line already. It's not as good as the first time. He fucked up a lot in this promo. Like, a lot. It wasn't that great. Every time he fucked up, "We want Slater" chants filled the arena. Titus says, I don't know who you guys are talking about. I want Darren Young. And Bob Backlund runs down, puts Titus in the crossface chicken wing, and Titus then he gets out of it and kicks Bob Backlund. Darren comes out, and he receives the Clash of the Titus from Titus O'Neil. Rusev versus Big Cass. Rusev was also not in the opening segment, but he is a part of the tournament. Cass starts off very strong. Rusev starts to rally. He kicks Enzo in the back of the head, which pisses Cass off. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this in WWE, any of the superstars, but if you hurt Enzo, it pisses Cass off, and you're gonna lose. Cass slams Rusev. Rusev gets thrown into the steps, and they had the same giant circle light ring posts that they used last night for SummerSlam. And when Cass threw Rusev into the post, they broke. They didn't it didn't shatter, but they broke the light, so it didn't work for the rest of the show. So that was pretty funny. But he threw him into the steps, and Rusev got back in the ring. Big boot to Rusev. He fell back out of the ring, and he just walked out. He just walked away. Big Cass, count out victory. He's going on with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins next week for the Universal title. Charlotte comes out to talk about SummerSlam and how she became a 2-time women's champion. She talks about how she's much better than Sasha, how she injured her. She broke her back. Mick comes out and says, yes, you may have become champion, and congratulations. But Sasha will get a rematch when she's healthy. But, for the time being, they've gone out and signed the hottest woman free agent there is to offer. Out comes Baylay. I wanted Baylay on SmackDown, but I guess I'll take it because Sasha's hurt at the moment. But I wanted Baylay on SmackDown. I know I'm not the only one, but anyway. Charlotte says that there's a reason Baylay got left behind in the what was then the Divas Revolution, but is now the Women's Revolution. She said there's a reason Baylay got left behind in that. Baylay says, you know I respect you, and I would never try to upstage you, but you know I'm going to challenge you for that title. And Charlotte says, I'm not dressed to compete, but Dana is. And that sets up a match, Dana versus Baylay. Baylay starts off very strong. She slams Dana's head off the turnbuckle a bunch of times. Dana throws Baylay into the barricade. Flying spinning elbow to Dana. And Baylay to belly for the win. Good match. Good debut. Bayley's on Raw, not on SmackDown. I'll get over it eventually. I'll get over it. Braun Strowman versus Johnny Knockout. That's the name of the guy he fought today. In the pre-match interview that Johnny Knockout had with Byron Saxton. He was asked, "Why are you doing this?" And his response was, "I like big, sweaty men." I mean, the first guy, I don't even remember the first guy's name, but the first guy that when they started doing these squash matches for Braun, the first guy was the best. And then the second guy, he was just doing it for the money. I don't remember any of the other. I mean, the third guy, he got an entrance. And now this guy, his match was different too, because Braun wins in less than a minute with the reverse chokeslam, and then Braun slams him again, yells at the ref, and then he pins him again. So he lost twice. So not only did Braun win the match, but he won the match literally again. He won 2 matches. So Johnny Knockout lost 2 matches as well. And another thing that got announced on Twitter, the Dudleys, they are retired from WWE. At least I'm pretty sure they're retired from WWE. That's what I'm taking it as. They say goodbye to WWE. So I'm taking it as they're retiring from WWE. Bubba says that they've always known whether the crowd hated them or liked them. They knew they always respected them. Devon says he brings up the TLC matches that they had with Edge and Christian and the Hardys, and how those are always being brought up still today, and how they're the greatest TLC matches that will ever go on in the history of TLC matches, which is very true. And because they're retiring, the Shining Stars come out and offer them tickets to go to a retirement home in Puerto Rico. The Dudleys attack them, 3D to Epico, the Was Up thing to Primo. They try to 3D Primo through the table, but then the club come out, for some reason, and attack the Dudleys. Magic Killer to Bubba, Magic Killer to Devon through the table. Don't know why the club came out. It made sense for it kinda made sense for the Shining Stars to come out. They come out, their whole gimmick is come to Puerto Rico. They're offering them a retirement home in Puerto Rico. They're retiring. It made sense. They could beat them up. They're not doing anything at the moment. They're not going to kill any momentum because they don't have any momentum. So just give them a 3D through a table one last time. It's not going to do any harm. Then the club come out. Why? Why the club? I mean, hopefully it'll mean something. The main event, Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho for the final spot of the final. It got announced later in the show that the tournament eventually next week it's going to be a fatal 4-way for the Universal title. So I'm assuming next week's main event will be a fatal 4-way for the title. So far it's Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Big Cass. Roman Reigns starts off very strong. Chris Jericho then rakes Roman's eyes when the ref pulls him away. Drop kick to Roman, 2 count. Roman starts to rally back, but he gets hit with an enziguri. Chris gets a 2 count. Drive-by, Superman punch, 2 count. Codebreaker turned into a sit-down powerbomb, 2 count. Owens comes out. Chris Jericho rolls up Roman, 2 count. Superman punch. Chris Jericho locks in the Rawls, but Mighty Reigns, he claws his way to the rope. He gets a rope break. Super kick from Owens. Codebreaker, 1, 2. Roman kicks out. Spear for the win. That just ended it. Roman joins Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Big Cass in the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal title. Roman's not going to win that match. he'll probably take the pin. He will probably take the pin. I don't know if they'll give it to Big Cass. I would love for them to give it to Big Cass. So would every single person in attendance next week. Would love for them to give it to Big Cass. They may just give it to Seth Rollins. They may just do that. Because, I mean, they easily just could have given it to him last night. And, I mean, Seth did injure Finn, so maybe they'll give it to Kevin Owens. But I don't know, because if they give it to Kevin Owens, it ruins the whole Jericho thing. If they give it to Cass, it kind of splits up Enzo and Cass. So they pretty much have to give it to Seth Rollins. But at the same time, they don't have to. They're not giving it to Roman. If they give it to Roman, they're just gonna go back to the constant booing and constant shit on. Don't give Roman a title yet. But anyway, it wasn't a bad show. I get internet this Friday, so we're not gonna be doing these stupid, shitty phone videos. We'll have better videos. Hopefully, we'll still do the face cam. I'm gonna figure that out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Camp Count Dakota, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodles.